I don't even recognize myself anymore.
I'm really worried about him. His addiction. I haven't seen him like this. Ever.
Hey, look, I never wanted to start using. I knew the drill, but I was out of options.
I just want to tell him it's not your fault. There are people out there who can help. People who have felt your pain. They know what you're going through.
This has to stop. I'm losing everything. Everyone.
You've been strong your whole life. You can do this, but you have to reach out for help.
It's time. I can do this.
Addiction is a disease, and diseases need treatment.
Call Quit Drugs 321 now at 800-378-3508, 800-378-3508. That's 800-378-3508. Paid for by the Detox and Treatment Helpline.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Elevating with Marcia. I'm your host, Marcia Hawkins. Welcome to the show today. It is an absolutely gorgeous day here in the Northeast. Today's show is brought to you by MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. Please check it out, MarciaHawkinsAgency.com, and also TelewellnessMD.com, TelewellnessMD.com. All right, we've got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about kind of a recap of last week's show, which is going to be about insurance, financials, a couple of other things, how to prepare and get yourself in the best shape when you go to apply for insurance, and also why price is important, but also the quality of the policy that you're buying is also extremely important. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that, and also a little bit of sports here. Curious to know how many are actually engaging with the XFL. For as much as I love football, and everyone that listens to the show knows how much I love football, I don't know why, but I cannot seem to get into it. I've tried. It's just doesn't, I don't know. It's just not working for me. I haven't had a chance to delve into any of the statistics as to whether or not people are really tuning in, but I'm sure they are. But I am curious to know. So shoot me a direct message at Elevating with Marcia on Facebook or Instagram, because I'd like to know if you have the same enthusiasm for the XFL as you do the NFL. All right, Major League Baseball news. Yankees on top of the AL East. Tampa Bay slips into number 2 spot, and the Boston Red Sox drop to 3rd place in the American Central. The Twins over the Guardians and White Sox. American League West, Astros over the Mariners and Texas Rangers. National League East, Mets in the number 1 position over the Braves, and the Phillies Central. Brewers over the Cardinals and the Pirates. In the West, LA Dodgers over the Padres and the Giants. So I have to see how that all pans out now that we're a little north of mid-season. I think we've got about 8 weeks to the kickoff of the National Football League. Of course, golf, tennis, and so much more going on. All right, you're listening to Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM 203, 217, and on the app 967, the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with Mike and Karen. We're going to talk insurance and talk how you can get yourself in good shape for retirement and much more. Quick break. We'll be right back.
Do you have no credit or bad credit? Well, now it's no problem with YourCreditPulse.com. Our experts have the comprehensive knowledge to help you aggressively navigate and remove any irregularities from your credit report. Call 559-761-9421 for the solution you've been looking for, from buying a house or a car or securing your next personal or small business loan. All you have to do to get started with a confidential and free consultation is call 559-761-9421 or go to our website at YourCreditPulse.com now.
At Progressive, you can get 24/7 protection, even if you break the space-time continuum.
Wait, every time you wake up is the same day? That's terrible.
Don't worry, I call Progressive. Their 24/7 protection still works even if my day does last forever.
Yeah, but don't you want it to end?
Are you kidding? I win the lottery whenever I want and never regret anything. It's the best.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Progressive offers more than a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection, which literally means anytime. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Have you ever wished the student athlete in your family could play baseball against teams in the Caribbean? Well, now they can set sail and do just that with Team Avenue Baseball on one of its iconic Caribbean cruise camps. That's right. If they love baseball and want an experience they'll never forget, then you need to call 559-321-6701 or visit teamavenuebaseball.com right now. Founded by former pro ball players, teamavenuebaseball.com will lead to the baseball adventure of a lifetime. Call 559-321-6701 now.
Are you looking for solutions for health and wellness at home? Please visit antiagingbed.com. They are on a mission to use proven technology to provide you with healthy solutions to many conditions that affect all of us physically and mentally. Use promo code WELLNESS for your discount. Antiagingbed.com. Technology proven to help you feel your best. Use promo code WELLNESS. Antiagingbed.com. Feel your best. Hi, this is Marcia Hawkins of Elevating with Marcia. Please stop by telewellnessmd.com. Receive 20% off your purchase with the promo code Marcia. Book your consultation with Dr. Brent Agan today. Learn about their products and therapies to help you look and feel your best. telewellnessmd.com with the promo code Marcia. Stop by telewellnessmd.com, promo code Marcia. Hi, Marcia Hawkins here of Elevating with Marcia. Please stop by marciahawkinsagency.com. We're a full-service multi-line agency, and we offer a unique product called Indexed Universal Life Insurance. It's not your typical life insurance policy. Learn how you can pull money out tax-free in retirement with an Indexed Universal Life product. Please check out marciahawkinsagency.com and book a consultation today. marciahawkinsagency.com.
All right, welcome back to the show. Again, you're listening to Elevating with Marcia on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Today, we're going to be talking with Karen and Mike. They're colleagues of mine in the insurance industry. And I'm bringing Karen back again with Michael because I want to talk and expand a little bit more on what we talked about in last week's show. So welcome, Karen and Mike. Let's dive right in because, as you know, this show goes so fast and we have so much content to cover. But one thing I want to talk about first is how someone can prepare themselves when they're applying for insurance. I mean, I'll start off and you guys can take it from there. The number one thing you want to do is when you receive your policies in the mail, find a safe place for them, scan them in, maybe create a digital copy on your computer for you, so that when you are comparative shopping, when you go online to one of the major, what is that? The I can't really say the names, but you know what I'm talking about. Some of the more national names that are known that you hear on the radio and TV all the time. But you go to those sites, and a lot of times you are, possibly going to find a cheaper rate, but you want to make sure that you're comparing apples to apples, oranges to oranges. You want to make sure you have the same liability limits, the same coverage for medical, all of that. Karen and Mike, what else can a potential customer, a potential insured do to get themselves in tip-top shape before they apply for insurance?
Too much information is not enough. That's how
exactly. Yep.
Because time and time again, we run into a client and we say, well, we need this, they're, oh, I thought I sent you that. We need everything, date of birth. I mean, there's just, I say it that way and just because I want them to give me more information than I need. So too much information.
Yeah, what's on your grocery list? Exactly. Karen, what else have you got for us?
For just how to get prepared, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people will just go online and they'll just put in some information and, they think they're getting exactly what they need. Like, for example, in Massachusetts, if you do not have the right limits and you travel over into the state of New York and you don't have the limits that the state of New York requires, you would be considered underinsured in that state and not covered. A lot of people do not know that. What are some of the other things that you could tell someone, whether they're shopping for homeowners, whether they're shopping for auto? And we're going to get into the host of other services that we offer. But what else do they need to be aware of when they're potentially applying for insurance?
I think just to really look at, what's their current situation and where do they want to be, in 5 years, 10 years, and what are their projections and what is their life going to be like? You can't just look at the picture now. Think about, what would happen from a year from now if you were to lose your house. What's going to change in your life and how is that going to affect you? How's it going to affect your family? So and like we kind of talked about last week, people don't ever want to look at things like that. You never want to think about the bad, but we have to look at the bad in case something were to ever happen. And that's the worst time. You and I have talked about that before. When people want dental insurance, they always want dental insurance when they're having dental problems. And that's not the time. That is not the time to look for dental insurance. Just like you can't get auto insurance after you had an accident. So it's really looking ahead. But as you said, you have to compare apples to apples. And when people are just looking at the price and solely the price, they really need to look at, each of the dollar amounts and what is that policy really covering for them? Because as we saw with the client I did with the homeowners this week, she was shocked at how much more she could get for just a few dollars more per month and how much more coverage and how much more peace of mind she was going to have.
I know people all the time, you never think it's going to happen to you. You never think you're going to suffer a loss, but I would be willing to bet for those Massachusetts drivers that border, or any state for that matter, that borders the state of New York, if you cross over there and unfortunately have an accident, many people would not realize that if they didn't have the correct limit on their policy, that again, they would be considered an underinsured driver and not covered. So it's very, very important for people to really look at the policy. Now, I got to tell you, before I get into the insurance industry, I was guilty of it. I assumed that the agent was giving me what I needed. But I will tell you what I've learned is that, many insurance agents will sell you based on price. They will give you the bare bones minimum in order to get that contract and get that policy sold versus really looking, I've never, ever once prior to getting into insurance, ever had an insurance agent ask me whether or not I travel into New York, which I do all the time. All the time. I go up to the Albany area. I go up there even more so now. In fact, I'm going up next week. So it is really, really important that people understand specifically what they're buying. I know a lot of people get the policy in the mail and they toss it into their file cabinet, which is, kind of cliche. Most people don't have a file cabinet anymore, but you know what I'm saying? They take it, file it, and they don't think about it until they go to have a claim and then find out they don't have adequate coverage. So that's very, very important. And, Michael, you brought up a good point talking about you can never give an agent too much information. And you're right, Karen, people really need to think ahead. A lot of times people, and I'm going to be doing another whole, not show, but I'm going to be doing a newsletter on the co-insurance clause when you suffer a loss and you do not have your property insured at least 80% to the value. It's called almost like an underreporting, clause that you would definitely not get the money you think you'd get if you do not. Let's, for example, say you have a building. The insurance agent comes out to do an inspection and they tell you, that building that you have over there, it really, the replacement cost and the actual cash value cost is going to be at X amount. Let's say it's going to be $250,000 to replace the building and you have it insured for $100,000. You are not insuring that building at 80%. And if, God forbid, you suffered a loss, you would not get nearly what you think you would get for that building. And I just think people assume that when they have a loss, it matters what the value is at the time, but it really goes back to your policy. So it's a good idea to review your policies, take a good look at them and find out what you have. I can say it 100 times, when, people buy insurance, a lot of people just assume they have the adequate coverage. And I'm here to tell you, before I got into the insurance industry, I probably did not understand the coverages that I had. And to your point, Karen, you are absolutely right. You do not buy insurance after you suffer a loss. And how many times have we, gotten a phone call for someone wanting dental insurance when they're in need of a root canal. It just simply does not work that way. So, Michael, what are some other the other tips, and Karen, that you could give to the listeners about the process of buying insurance?
I would say read a couple of things. One, I would ask them, how much risk are you willing to, the insurance business is all about risk. Who's assuming the risk? Either the policyholder or the insurer. So how much, just as an example, how much of the risk of a collision do you want to accept? 500, 1,000, whatever. And then the other thing, if you're going to be shopping for something, read it. Just like you'd read something in the grocery store, how much sugar does this have, or whatever. Read the policy. Make sure that you understand. If you don't, ask your agent. What does this really mean?
Yeah, good point. And it's true because, do you have the right amount of limits? I use the example, one product that I'm a huge advocate for is the umbrella policy. So if you have a $500,000 limit and God forbid you suffer a car crash and you hit another car, you're at fault, and you have a $500,000 limit on your policy. Well, if that person, God forbid, ends up in a wheelchair, you can bet that a $500,000 is not going to make a dent into the impact on their life that they're going to have. So you are right, Michael. Review your policy. If you don't understand something, ask your agent to explain it to you in terms of what that specifically means to you if you suffered a loss. We unfortunately live in a very litigious society, and people are always looking, to blame someone and for someone to pay for what's happened. And if you are liable, and if you're found liable and at fault, then yeah, you definitely, if you exceed that 500,000 or whatever, 300,000, whatever the limit is, and you've got assets, I can tell you, most likely, there's an attorney. You see the billboards, you see the ads, you see the pop-up click ads on the internet. There is a liability attorney, personal injury attorney, just about on every corner, and they are happy to come after you. So an umbrella policy is something we'll talk about when we come back from the break. All right, this is Elevating with Marcia on XM 203. 217 and on the app at 967, the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. You can find me on iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, Stitcher, iTunes, Tuned In, and my favorite, the American Forces Radio Network. We're talking insurance, we're talking money, and we're going to bring it back after the break. I'll be right back.
Do you need to sell your home? If you've sold a home before, you remember how stressful and expensive it was. Sold.com is here to help you sell your home for the most money and with the least amount of stress. There are new ways to sell your home that you've never heard of before. Did you know there are companies who'll offer you cash for your home? Did you know you could trade in your home for a new one? Did you know there are realtors who'll sell your home for a flat fee instead of an expensive commission? It's true. Sold.com services are free. So if you're looking to sell, make this free phone call right now and learn how your next home sale can be faster and easier than you ever thought possible. Pick up your cell phone and call right now. 800-449-1759. 800-449-1759. 800-449-1759. Again, that's 800-449-1759.
Do you own an annuity, either fixed rate, indexed, or variable? Are you paying high fees and getting low returns? If so, Annuity General would like you to have this free book to learn the pitfalls and mistakes of buying an annuity. The Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers contains the little-known truths about annuities, like how to help reduce your fees and increase retirement income. And it's free. That's right, free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report just for calling. We researched over 1,000 annuities and summarized rates and benefits from financially strong insurers. You get Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and the Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling Annuity General today. Hurry, supplies are limited. Call now.
800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. That's 800-760-1845.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. You're listening to Elevating with Marcia. As I mentioned, it is an absolutely gorgeous day here in the Northeast. We've had really good weather, a little bit, could use a little bit of rain, but the humidity levels for July has really, we've had a couple of hot days, but it's absolutely been supreme. Gorgeous, gorgeous day in the Northeast. All right, I'm talking with Karen and Mike. They're colleagues of mine. We're going to be talking, in this segment, we're going to be talking about life insurance. Last week, we talked about utilizing a life insurance retirement product for your retirement. It's really kind of a unique concept. I've sold life insurance for years, and the current company that I write for was explaining to me how you could really utilize this for a retirement product, which is something my previous IMO never really explained to me. It was more about churning and burning those policies out. This is really about setting yourself up. So Karen and Mike, the one thing that I think people, when you think about insurance, you might have a claim on your auto, you might have a claim on your homeowners, you might have a claim on your business owner's policy, you might have a claim on your workman's comp. On a life insurance policy, permanent life insurance policy, not term, permanent, none of us are getting out of this alive. You can almost guarantee if that policy is enforced for the remainder of your life, someone is going to be able to cash that policy in, meaning your beneficiary. Why do you think there is such resistance for people when it comes to buying life insurance? Either one of you.
Well, I'll tell you, some of the things that some people say to me is they're under the idea that they're buying life insurance for someone else's benefit. And part of my job is to convince them that I don't really look at it as life insurance or death insurance. I tell them, what kind of income would you like when you retire? That's how I approach it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point. Karen, any thoughts with what we hear it all the time? What are some of the objections you've heard?
Well, like we said, people don't want to think about that. For one thing, they don't want to think about dying. And it just, a lot of people don't see it as a priority, but really it's setting your family up for success. If you are married or you have children or a family, do you want to leave them with all that debt? Do you want to leave them, when you pass, it's the worst thing that could ever happen to a family. And why would you want to make it even more difficult on them during that time of really struggling? So it's knowing that what you're leaving behind is, more confidence, more success for the family and your loved ones that they wouldn't have otherwise. But even, if we're talking about the IULs or something like that, whereas, what do you want to have for your future? Looking at it that way as well, having something that's going to pay you back. And, if we look at our bank accounts aren't making any money right now.
No.
So looking at other alternatives and something that's going to be more guaranteed, and it can show you what it's guaranteed at, and it could do even better than that. Why wouldn't you do something like that and, be smart with your money? But once again, it takes, a lot of people don't want to look into finances like that. They don't feel comfortable with it. And so they're looking for somebody that could help explain that to them. And I think that's what we do well, is we explain it. And really show people what all their options are. And that's what you need, is somebody that shows you the different options, not that this is the answer and this is the only one you should go with.
Well, that raises a good question because you're absolutely right. I don't think it's explained right. I think, I go back, I always say this, you go back to that Woody Allen movie when he's all disheveled and he said, I feel like I've been in the hot seat with an insurance agent all day. And I think that, people have that vision. I've got to be really honest. Back when my husband and I were first married, we had that experience. We actually bought a life insurance policy knowing full well we were going to cancel it the next day just to get the guy out of our house. It was that bad. He left, and I kid you not, he left at midnight, 6 o'clock appointment, got the kids to bed, an hour later. And I just remember, kicking my husband under the table, like, just buy it, get him out of here. Like, I got to go to bed. These kids are going to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I need my sleep. And it was a horrible, horrible, horrible experience. And I hate to say it, but I do believe that in part is why there are agents out there that do that. I call them the churn and burn, and they simply do not care. Our biggest asset in our agency is the fact that we are very customer service oriented. That's all we care about. Yes, we are in sales, but I'm not of the mindset that I want to constantly replace those policies because I just sold something that I wanted them to buy, not something that the client needed. So it really comes down to need, which I think is the most important thing. How many times, you guys can just chime in, yay or nay, how many times have you been on social media where someone is raising money for someone's funeral?
Yeah.
Often.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All the time. GoFundMe is probably making money off of untimely deaths more than any other category or an illness, which goes back to what Karen talked about earlier. Life insurance doesn't just provide income when you die. It provides money. You're essentially buying money for the future, but you're also buying money for the here and now. Most older policies do not have the living benefits rider, which means you're going to be able to cash it out for a catastrophic illness, a terminal illness, or critical illness. It's going to be able to allow you to tap into that policy, meaning you don't necessarily have to die in order to tap into that. It can also be structured for a retirement plan. So I like to do it when I think about a couple. Let's say they're in their 30s. Now, mind you, people seem to forget that as you get older, it only gets more expensive. So 2 things buy you life insurance, and it's not money: your age and your health. So always buy it when you're young and healthy. If you try to buy it when you're sick, like Karen said, it's like crashing your car and then trying to get your car repaired through insurance. Doesn't work that way. So with the different products, I think of a couple. Let's say they're in their 30s. They've just bought a house. They've got 2 children, a dog, the white picket fence. You're pulling the vision here. So what you want to do is you want to dig in to find out specifically what they would need to cover if in the event one of them passed away. Now, let's say the wife doesn't work. And the husband's a breadwinner and they solely live off that income. And a lot of times people will think, well, I only need, insurance on my husband, which is not necessarily true. If you've got 2 young children and the wife is caring for those children, what's going to happen in the event that the wife dies? The husband is going to have to, have childcare. He's going to have a host of other things to kind of get him to to where he needs to be financially. So I always like to look at short-term, either 20 or 30, depending on what your mortgage is, factor in college, a wedding. I like to factor in all of the things that are major financial events in your life and kind of cover that with term. And then what I like to do, and there's a couple of different ways we can go about that. And then what I like to do is to figure out, what that couple would need for income. And there's a number of different factors that you can use to arrive at that. But I really like to project further out than short term. I like to use the short term formula just to cover their debts. And also, you want to think about retirement. I mean, nobody had ever talked to me about using IUL as a retirement vehicle. I'm sure both of you were surprised as well, but what a phenomenal product. In pitching it accomplishes so much. So Michael, when you think about the IUL, It's perfect for business owners and such. What do you like about the they call them LIRPs, the life insurance retirement product? What are some of the key things you like about it?
Well, one of them is that it's such a great surprise for the potential client. They've not heard of this before, and they go, really? And you and I are working on one where he's got a 19-year-old son, and for $200 a month, when he's 65, he's going to get almost $500,000. I mean, he's 19, he's healthy, and what happens is, and his father is 51. Well, he's in a different pool as far as his coverage and what benefits he get and stuff like that. And then if the older you get, you start taking meds. That's always an issue. If you're taking meds, a lot of I hate to say it, but a lot of physicians and nurses assistants and all that, like they got the prescription pad in their holster and whip it out at the drop of a hat. So what I like about it is that it's a great way for the customer. And I'll say it again, not life insurance, not death insurance, but income. In the event that something happens, you're covered. But if it doesn't, you're going to have a nice retirement.
Absolutely. Karen, what do you like about the IUL? I know you have one, and what do you like about it?
Well, I like the fact, I mean, of course, for me, it's more so for during retirement age, or if something were to happen to me. What if I got hurt and I'm disabled and I can't work anymore? That's going to be a huge factor for me. And I have 2 children at home. So I need some kind of protection for that. So it's nice to know that would take effect. But for somebody, say, younger, when I was talking to my son about this, and I said, it would give you savings for putting a down payment on a house, which is huge. I mean, how many young people have enough money to put a down payment on a house, especially if somebody was getting out of college? Now they have all these student loan debts. They're not going to have the money for something like that.
Right. I got to take a quick, I'm on a hard break, Karen, and we'll pick that up right after the break. All right. You're listening to Elevating with Marcia. We'll be right back. We're talking retirement and IUL.
Progressive's Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare our direct rates with multiple companies. Now that we've covered something you could do, it's time for sports stuff you definitely could not do.
If you were head coach, you would not have gone for it on 4th down. Your confidence in your play calling ability might be a little overblown, considering you're barely confident in which restaurant to order takeout from, let alone choosing a play in front of 70,000 screaming fans.
But you definitely can use Progressive's Home Quote Explorer to easily compare rates. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
Do you have no credit or bad credit? Well, now it's no problem with YourCreditPulse.com. Our experts have the comprehensive knowledge to help you aggressively navigate and remove any irregularities from your credit report. Call 559-761-9421 for the solution you've been looking for, from buying a house or a car or securing your next personal or small business loan. All you have to do to get started with a confidential and free consultation is call 559-761-9421 or go to our website at YourCreditPulse.com now.
Hi, Marcia Hawkins here of Elevating with Marcia. Please stop by MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. We're a full-service multi-line agency, and we offer a unique product called Indexed Universal Life Insurance. It's not your typical life insurance policy. Learn how you can pull money out tax-free in retirement with an Indexed Universal Life product. Please check out MarciaHawkinsAgency.com and book a consultation today. MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. Hi, this is Marcia Hawkins of Elevating with Marcia. Please stop by TeleWellnessMD.com. Receive 20% off your purchase with the promo code Marcia. Book your consultation with Dr. Brent Agan today. Learn about their products and therapies to help you look and feel your best. TeleWellnessMD.com with the promo code Marcia. Stop by TeleWellnessMD.com, promo code Marcia.
Have you ever wished the student athlete in your family could play baseball against teams in the Caribbean? Well, now they can set sail and do just that with Team Avenue Baseball on one of its iconic Caribbean cruise camps. That's right. If they love baseball and want an experience they'll never forget, then you need to call 559 321-6701 or visit teamavenuebaseball.com right now. Founded by former pro ball players, teamavenuebaseball.com will lead to the baseball adventure of a lifetime. Call 559-321-6701 now.
Remember your favorite movie moments? Ever thought about collecting them and connecting with your favorite creators? Now you can turn that wish into a reality with Real 8. Real 8 is an inaugural NFT marketplace for fans to collect exclusive behind-the-scenes moments. With Real 8, you can access unique experiences like meeting the cast and crew live. Visit real8.com/USA now to join a community of like-minded fans and get even closer to the films you love. Don't miss the latest NFT drop. Check out real8.com/USA. That's REEL, the number 8.com/USA.
All right, everybody, welcome back. You're listening to Elevating with Marcia on XM 203, Sirius 217, and on the XM app 967, the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. We're talking about, I'm going to dive right back into it because we're talking about, Karen, before the break, you were talking about, what you like about the IUL. Isn't it interesting how when you think of an IUL, the amount of challenges, I hate to use the word problems, but the amount of challenges that you could encounter in your life that this product would solve. So, for example, if you're looking for retirement and it's structured that way, which your agent will help you structure that, and we invite you to call the office. Let's give the office number. It's 413-458-5584. You can also go to marciahawkinsagency.com. And our contact information is there, and we'd be happy to schedule. We can do it via Zoom. We can do it via phone. If you happen to be local, we can do it in person. But we can pretty much sell you an IUL anywhere in the country. Not a problem. But I'm amazed at how many problems it solves. So you've got retirement solved. You've got if you're diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and you can no longer work, you've got that safety net underneath you. And God forbid you die, let's face it, we're all going to check out of here at some point. We all have an expiration date stamped somewhere on us. We just can't see it. Your family, your beneficiary. And I kind of get it, Michael, when you were talking about how people, have that, well, why am I going to pay all this money to leave money to somebody else? Well, I think when people think about their children, they're fine with it. I think when they're thinking about their spouse, they're fine with it. But I find that as people get older, they really start to think about, what they're going to be able to, I get a lot of calls on final expense, and people will say, so-and-so passed away last week, and, they didn't have any money for their funeral. And it really scared me. And I realized I don't have anything set aside for that. So it accomplishes so much. And I don't know very many people that are comfortable with leaving their debt to somebody else. But I do think that's part of it. And again, an IUL, I think, is one of the vehicles that just accomplishes so many of those goals. When you're thinking about retirement, let's talk about a little bit about the tax advantage with an IUL. We all were raised on the idea that a 401k is just the end all of your retirement. And, a lot of people don't realize that when you tap into a 401k, especially, and Karen, we've talked about this, how many times people have tapped into a 401k to buy a home, and what happens to them when they do that?
They get taxed with a big fee.
Very big fee. And a
Yes.
lot of people don't realize that. And Michael, when we talk about pulling that money out, the one thing we can't do is we can do a guaranteed IUL for sure. But on one of the programs that we have, one of the IULs that we have, I have been, you kind of look at the projections because we don't have a crystal ball. And we don't know exactly what it's going to do, but we do have a cap, and we do have a bottom on that, and we have the ability to project. And I would say in our illustrations, they are relatively conservative. But some people look at IULs and there's, in my opinion, very little negative about them. But when people bring up the negatives, let's talk about that, because it always and invariably does come up in the conversation, is the monthly fees. And I've described that to people. Um, when you think about it, you still are purchasing life insurance, and it really is the cost of the insurance, and it's the cost of managing that account. And in my opinion, that's really the only negative. And I don't even consider it a negative. If you're going to buy life insurance, you should be expected to pay for it. But the tax advantages with it, in my opinion, completely offset that. So if someone were to say to you, Michael, what are the negatives about this? How would you respond to that?
Well, some of they point out, the monthly fees and stuff like that. But then some people say, well, I've got this financial planner, and then I'll do some research and find out what they charge. And so one in particular, whose name will remain anonymous, obviously, but they'll charge 2.5% every month. But you give them $1 million, only charging 0.5%. But they're charging too. And is that money coming out tax free? It's not. So I never call it a negative. I say these are fees to manage your money so that you get the most out of it. That's simple. It's not as expensive as some of these financial planners drive awfully expensive cars. I don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, and like anything, it is the cost of the insurance, and people forget about that. You are getting a death benefit in that. But I like to point it out, and I do like to talk about it because, people bring it up and just say, so-and-so told me IULs aren't the way to go. And I personally cannot find a negative with it. But I like to be prepared and address that with people because they do want to know. But I do not believe that very few people really understand how an indexed universal life product works, and how it's not just a life insurance product. It's a retirement vehicle. It's in the event you are, heart attack, stroke, cancer, something, God forbid, terminal, that you do have the living benefits rider on there that you're allowed to tap into. And again, not to be redundant, but you simply do not have to die in order to tap into the policy. All right, I want to shift gears a little bit. We've only got a few minutes left. I want to talk about a business owner policy. We specialize in business owner policies, and we absolutely love doing them. And we invite people who own a business. Our specialty is mom and pops. If you're an electrician, a plumber, floor refinisher, convenience store owner, something, where you want to, maybe shop around and maybe get a new quote and take a look at what we offer with our company and what we can offer you. Karen, I know you're working on a rather large product with a BOP now. Business owners, and another thing that we can talk about is layering on an umbrella policy to a commercial policy. As you know, we live in a very litigious society. What benefits do you see to someone who gets a business owner policy and the adding that umbrella onto that?
Well, it's just going to give them even more protection, and it's really not very expensive to add on, but adding that layer of the umbrella gives you that protection when, God forbid, somebody does decide they want to sue you. And just, with inflation now and everything going up and up, I think everybody just needs to have that added protection once again, to know that you have that extra coverage when somebody does decide that they want to sue you. Hopefully not, but everybody is sue happy now.
I know.
Those lawyers, they're driving nice cars too. I know one of them that's driving a very nice Mercedes. But yeah, it just gives you that added benefit that, once again, we just never know when something's going to happen. And going with I have somebody that did a business owner policy online with some online app, and it's very inexpensive. But if something happens with his business, his equipment's not protected. He really just got the low minimum for business coverage. And I said to him, I hate the thought that something might happen, because you're not going to get any money back. If you get anything at all, and what's the point of having it if you're not going to have the real protection that you should have?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. And what scares me about that is if he did have a claim, You know, I just don't recommend that. You really need an agent to really kind of walk you through and make sure you have the adequate coverage that you need. You know, we talked in the first segment, people like to buy price. I mean, we can talk about that, you know, just going, you know, apples to apples, oranges to oranges, and making sure that the liability limits are in line with the quote that you're looking at. And people, I get it. I totally understand it. But at the same time, you just want to make sure, because unfortunately, I mean, I laugh when I go to Florida, the billboards down there, oh my gosh, with personal injury. I think I know every single one of them, because there's, you know, 50 of them on the interstate. It's just incredible, you know? Yeah. Michael, anything to add to that?
Well, what I tell them is that my job is to help you sleep, to know that your risk is covered.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Karen, were you going to say something?
Oh, no.
Oh, I didn't want to interrupt you. No, it's true. And I do know the client that you're talking about. And I again, you know, I understand why people go online. It's so simple. You see the ads all the time. You know, you've got your lizard, and you've got the lady with the white outfit on, and, you know, you can go on and you can get your quote and you're like, okay, I'm good, you know, but there's so many things that go into it. One thing I do want to point out that, you know, when you're looking for an auto quote, again, much like your health will buy you health insurance and life insurance, your driving record will buy you car insurance. And people, I know it's people don't walk around knowing their driving record off the top of their head, but, you know, if you've got some challenges, you know, with speeding tickets or, you know, any moving violations, it's definitely going to affect your ability, which is another reason why, isn't it funny? But I do believe this. I think the reason why people absolutely love going online and doing is people love to be anonymous when they're looking for information. And a lot of times they don't want to give you that information, but in order to provide you with the best possible service, you know, we do need to know your driving record. We do need to know what your health is. We do need to know how we can solve financial problems for you. You know, we're not magicians, but we want to be able to point you in the right direction and make sure that we are providing you with exactly the adequate coverage that you need, the limits that you need, the appropriate policies that you need, and making sure, because again, if you've ever, if you've ever talked to a contractor, they will tell you, I would say, and I'm happy to say my husband's never had a claim, but I will say this. If you talk to a contractor, they will invariably tell you, you know, that sometime in their career that they've either been sued or they've been threatened to be sued. And it's not very comfortable, and it's very costly in legal fees. And you definitely want to make sure that you have that adequate coverage. So yeah, anything else quickly? We got a few seconds before we go to break. No, I think I'm good. I just, going back to read the policy, make sure you know what you're getting. I mean, I had, some car insurance company that was on the TV all the time, and I just got tired of paying for the ads and shopped around and got a good policy for less money.
Right.
And a local agent.
Excellent. All right, quick break. This is Elevating with Marcia on XM 203, Series 217. And on the app at 967, the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Check it out on iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, Stitcher, iTunes, Tuned In, and the American Forces Radio Network. I'm going to come back with a 2-minute warning in a few seconds.
Have you written a book? You can become a published author with Dorrance Publishing, the nation's oldest publishing services company. Countless authors have trusted Dorrance for nearly 100 years to bring their book to the market. Our professional team will edit your text, design your book pages, and create an appealing, eye-catching custom cover. Plus, our authors benefit from a custom book promotion marketing campaign that makes your book available where people buy books, like Amazon and brick-and-mortar bookstores. So make this free call right now to claim your free author's guide to publishing. Don't wait another day. Take one step closer to realizing your dream of becoming a published author and seeing your name in print. You've already written a book, so the next thing to do is make this free call right now to Dorrance Publishing and get your free guide to publishing. Call right now.
800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. That's 800-485-6003.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't, and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-824-5131. 800-824-5131. 800-824-5131. That's 800-824-5131.
All right, everybody, we were just given a 2-minute warning, which means it's time to pack it in for another week on Elevating with Marcia. Be sure to stop by my agency, MarciaHawkinsAgency.com, online at MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. It's MARCIA. Yep, no surprise, that is my name. We are a full-service multi-line agency. We do specialize in life insurance products that we've been talking about today, tax-free retirement, how to apply for insurance, and how to get yourself in tip-top shape to ensure that you get the best price, the best policy for your money. We always want to make sure you're comparing apples to apples, oranges to oranges. We also offer a plethora of other services for you. We specialize in business owner policies. If you're a business owner, we'd love to talk to you. We've got other services we can offer you. Kind of take that monkey off your back, if you will. We can set you up with workers' comp and a host of other business services, from payroll to web design and so much more. Today's show is brought to you by telewellnessmd.com. Check it out, telewellnessmd.com, helping you look and feel your best with strategies, products, and therapies. telewellnessmd.com. Check it out. Mention the promo code Marcia. They might give you a little bit of love and save you a little bit of money at the checkout. Also, MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. Again, we've got the best products for you. I'd love to talk to you about our life products and show you what we can do for you. All right, shoot on over to Instagram and Facebook at Elevating with Marcia. You can send me a direct message, or you can also direct message me at 413-374-2100. I'd love to have you on the show. And of course, I'm going to be monitoring everything in the NFL with the preseason, golf, tennis, basketball, hockey. If it's sports, you name it, I'm on it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you can be in the minute to win it and make it a great week. Adios.